Tonight on Community Connections, I have the pleasure of having Cindy Zipf of Clean Ocean Action. Cindy, thank you for coming again.
Oh, my pleasure. It's always fun.
Well, I remember you, I don't know if it was when I listened to you give a speech or when we had you here last year, you were hoping there'd be a day when you didn't need to have Clean Ocean Action.
Right.
We're not there yet.
No, unfortunately, we're not. I mean, it really was when we began the journey almost 25 years ago now. It was, oh, this will take just a few years when people find out how we're destroying the ocean and how it's going to destroy our economy and how we have been treating the ocean. It will work very quickly to resolve these issues, and we'll, protect the ocean for today and for tomorrow. And while we have accomplished a great deal, we still have a lot of work to do.
Well, as someone who, I go in a lot, into the ocean a lot.
Good for you.
Is, oh, it's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
so refreshing. What?
You can go in. I went in the first time in May. We're talking now, it was cold.
Yeah.
I was in mid-October. It's getting a little, I don't know if I'll get in again this year. But that's, 6 months out of the year, and it's there always. Right. It's a whole lot cleaner now than it, say, was 15 years ago.
Oh, by far, yes.
I mean, so when you, the first 10 years, you made monumental progress.
Right.
Now it seems, from my perspective as an elected official, it's a little more subtle.
Oh, it's much harder, right. The issues are much harder. The ocean dumping sites, which we could, were clearly causing, a lot of harm, have been closed, and we've found environmentally sound solutions there. We identified some of the real nasty sources of raw sewage that were getting into the ocean just along our shorelines and in the city, and some of those have been stemmed. Now the attention is being focused on more challenging issues like pharmaceuticals in the ocean environment and in the back bays, and how they're
you mean like medical supplies being dumped or something else?
Well, actually, there's a lot of pharmaceuticals that go through our bodies or that people are told to flush down into the wastewater system, and those pharmaceuticals are getting into the waters, and they're at levels that can affect fish. And
can you give us an example of that? Because I don't know much about that.
Sure. Yeah. Some of the pharmaceuticals that we use contain estrogen and and other chemicals that mimic the reproductive system or affect the reproductive systems. And there's actually fish. One study that was just done up in Jamaica Bay, where I think it's something like 80% of the flounder up in Jamaica Bay are male gender, not from estrogen, but from the opposite. So, that has affected that whole population.
Now, how do these get into the ocean or into the bays? Through
the wastewater treatment plants.
People flush them down the toilet, and they end up.
Or they go through our bodies. A lot of the chemicals go through our bodies, and if what we don't use passes through, it's not dinner table talk, but that's the reality. And so they get processed.
It's a little bit more subtle than just we're going to go out.
Much more subtle.
I mean, when you originally said it, there was a doctor arrested this summer. I mean, I don't know how foolish he can be.
Very dangerous.
But he just dumped medical supplies from his office off his boat.
Right.
I mean,
illegal dumping is something that used to be very common off the Jersey Shore, and now I think we've really, by eliminating dumping activities from being at all lawful, it has really enabled enforcement officers to look for any barges and things for dumping activities. We had a whole lot, as you will recall, medical waste washing up on the beaches and such, and those are more plastic-oriented items,
But people would go walking along the beach, they'd step on them, they'd see them. It was really disgusting for a while. I mean, I would say that a good chunk of the 80s, the ocean was rather unappealing.
Oh, it was not only unappealing, it was harmful to swim in.
Yeah.
We had beach closures, hundreds and hundreds of days of beach closures.
Now
over
there
the
seems
years.
to be, I mean, you
Rare.
have them, and they're localized. There's a
Yes.
specific reason that can be addressed. Something broke or something
Right.
isn't, something's broken.
Right.
We can fix it.
Right.
as
And now,
opposed to a-
because we've stopped some of those larger, bigger ocean dumping activities, we're able to look, at our other land-based sources, and look for other sources of pollution. For example, Monmouth Racetrack has been an issue that has been, dogging the back bays of the Navesink and the Shrewsbury, and so, those are able to be targeted and worked on, and we're able to find those things. Before it was all really focused more on offshore. Now we're really taking a look at the back bays and trying to bring them back as like we have brought the ocean back.